Welcome to S&G. We have the 61 Panhead off of the table onto the concrete, which is a step in the right direction. So if you haven't seen the video, a couple videos before I got this started, I was stoked. Great, what a great feeling, right? Get something old and crusty running and really looking forward to riding it now, right? So before I do that, I need to take care of some things on the front end and the rear end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a multi-part video because I'm gonna go over a lot of things. And some of the things on this multi-part video that I'm gonna be looking at is I'm gonna look at my wheel bearings. I'm going to look at the axle, see how it is. I'm going to look at the tightness of the spokes. I'm going to look at the wheel balance itself. I'm going to look at the wheel being true and also round. I'm going to check that out. I am going to check the tire itself. While I'm doing that to the front and back, and while it's off the ground, I'm going to check the head bearings to make sure that they're not loose and I don't need to address that. And what else? Drum brakes. So we've got mechanical cable drum brakes in the front and hydraulic drum brakes in the back. So we're going to clean those up. We're going to replace brake pads if we need to. Hopefully we don't. And we're going to go from there. So my trusted fat bastard buddy Jones made a tool to make removing these wheels a little easier. Now, they, as well as most motorcycles, you're going to have your axle nuts and your axle caps, and you're going to pull your axle out, and then you typically drop your wheel. But because these have drum brakes, they have five they're bolts that attach to the back of the drum itself. So you have to take those five Allen head bolts out before you can drop the wheel off, even if you took the axle off or pulled the axle out. So this is a tool to be able to do that. So we'll show you how we use that, and we'll get into that, and hopefully, you know, in a day, a week, it won't be a day, it probably won't even be a week, but hopefully in a week or two, everything's put back together and we're actually, we're ready to start riding. So stay tuned. We'll start out, and I'm going to try to make these things no more than maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes long on each part, and get that done. That way, we're ready to go. So, if you've already subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, consider it, and we'll be back in just a second. So one of the first things you want to do is these 5 wheel socket mounting bolts, is what Harley calls them, are right there. So hopefully you can see that. It's a Allen socket bolt, and what you'll do is you'll have to come through the frame here, and you can see these holes. And by the way, if you ever hear people talking about star hubs, this is a star hub. See how it kind of resembles a star? Here's your Zerk fitting. But what you'll do is you will come through your frame and you just roll your bike to where it's correct. Here's this tool that Jonesy made. You'll come through here. You'll come through one of the holes, and you'll go right back to that bolt, and that's what you'll do is you'll snap that free, roll your motorcycle, snap the next one. If you have it up in the stand, you're going to fight it because the wheel's going to want to turn on you. So I have all of those loose. The next thing you'll do, after those are all loose, is you might as well loosen the front ones too. So I'm going to come over here, and it's the same principle as back here, except here you have your hub. What do you want to call it? A cap, a hub cap. I'm not sure what the terminology. They've called them caps. They're wheel bearing caps. But anyhow, you will have this. Take a little screwdriver, pop that off, and now what you can do is you can center this hole with your bolt and hit each one of those. So this is where your piece will, Jonesy's tool will come through, you'll hit, open it, and you can just spin this right around and get all 5 of the bolts up here. So once you have those 10 bolts, completed and loose, now we're going to put this bike up on a stand, and we will start working on, we're going to take off the axle cap nuts. We're going to start to take off the axle nuts. We're going to pull the axle. We're going to drop the wheels off, and we will get into that and how you snake them around your, you can see these nuts or these bolts. Let me get into, looks like my lens is a little dirty. These bolts are actually, they're bolted into the disc brake, the back of the disc brakes. So you can drop these wheels off without taking your disc brake hub off. So let's get this up on a stand. We'll go from there. So I thought I would start with the front wheel. So what I've done is I have taken the plug out. All of my 5 bolts that attach to my disc drum are loose. Before I start to take, what I did, I loosened this. It's got a flathead screw. 1 screw holds this on. Okay, so I have that off. I also took the other side. Same thing, took it off. Those are just decorative pieces. They're actually, one's a little bit bigger so it goes over your nut. You can't get them messed up, but always still good to keep them separated. And here's one thing I want to make real clear. The service manual, buy a service manual if you're going to be working on motorcycles. You want to be able, that has all the specs in it. You're going to need more than the service manual. You're going to need YouTube. You're going to need buddies. You're going to need call a friend. All of the above. So, yeah, have the service manual. It gives you all the specs that I can't give you here because I don't do it every day. So that's why I refer to the manual. So what we'll do is, before you start taking everything apart, we want to check this neck bearing. And how you want to check the neck bearing, or one way to check the neck bearing. And I do have this up on a stand now. You want to watch it, don't drop your bike off a stand, but you can grab down here the lower end, or you can grab the tile, however. And I'm kind of pushing back and forth to see if I have, if my neck bearing is loose, I'm going to get some slop this way. So everything is real tight. I'll show you how to do a kind of a drop test on the front end to know if your bearing is tight enough or loose. That'll be later in the game. Right now, I just want to make sure I'm good there. Another thing I want to check is my wheel bearings to make sure, so I'm going to go side to side, back and forth. I'm just going to try to see if there's any movement, and if I have to clamp my legs around here and move the wheel, whatever it takes. If they're wasted, you'll be able to feel it. This feels real tight. Now, if you get in and you start, you know, and you're getting, you know, really feeling, you might have a little bit of play in this wheel to the left and the right, and a little bit of plays from 5/1000ths to, you know, 7/1000ths, I think the manual says. So that's normal. We'll check that once the wheel's off. I just want to catch any big stuff right now. So once that's done, I'm going to start to take off my cap nuts here. There's 2 of them. When you tighten these back, they're aluminum. Don't strip them, use a torque wrench. And I'm going to take off the axle nut over here, and we're going to go from there. So I'll be back in a second. On the left side of the wheel, I took out a cotter key, backed off the axle nut. There's a washer. And on the right side of the bike, I took out, let's see, right here, cap nuts, 2 of them 1/2 inch. I backed those down. I did not take them off yet. They're just backed out. Now that that's backed out, my 5 bolts are off of my my disc brakes. Not disc brakes, but drum brakes. I can now move that. I can move the axle. So what I'll do is I will start to take this axle out and pull it out. And I might a little tough with the old left hand, but you get the drift. Now, what I want to do is I want to check in here. Okay, you can see the spacer here. All right, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't another spacer or something in there, and there's not. So, here's what I'll do. I'd stick everything back together the way it came off, so that I can put it back on and be confident that it's back on the right way. And I double check my manual. I did both. So that's that. So, if life is good, what I should be able to do is pull that wheel off of the brake hub and drop this off. Now we'll see. Actually, I should have left a couple of nuts on, and I might put the nuts back on. If I'd have left some of the bolts into the, because I have to pull this hub from away, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling I'm pulling the wheel. See how I'm pulling the wheel away from the bearing? So what I'm going to do, let me hand thread just a couple, make it easier for me to pull that off. And I'll show you what I did. Okay, because I don't do this every day, this is part of reality. I mean, I took all of the bolts out and then figured, oh, I need to have one of the bolts in to hold the back of the brake mechanism so that when I pull this out, okay, I'm not just pulling the bearing through, I'm pulling the actual disc, you know, off of the brake pads. So I'm going to see if I get lucky and can get it off without beating it off, because you know, if they're rusted up, sometimes you'll have a heck of a time. So I'm going to put my knee up against here and I'm going to do a little wiggle worming. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, I'm definitely off of the caliper, but it looks as though I'm running in, my tire up here is running. I need to get about that much farther to drop that thing out. So I'm thinking if I probably let the air out of the tire, and maybe there's another trick that I'm not aware of, but let me try that and I'll let you know. All right, so what I did is I took my Schrader core out, let a little bit of air out of the tire, and I hope that's enough to pop this thing off. Maybe I can get lucky. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. So let me get back where you guys might be able to see. Here's what I had to pull off. Here's my brake drums. My pads from this angle look beautiful. It's probably some killer asbestos, which is probably the best brake pad they ever made. And I will not replace those. I will clean those up. I will grease things. We'll adjust them and we'll check bearings and we'll put everything right back together. But right now what I'm seeing, shoot, I'm really happy. So look at the inside of these, are really nice. Right? So we'll jump on and I'll show you what we do next here, and as soon as I get this stuff out of the way. So I was going to continue on, but I think we're pushing a 20-minute video now, and I'm going to bust these up into 20, 25, 30, whatever makes sense whenever I'm finished with one thing. And I think I'm going to call this, you know, how to remove a front wheel on a 61 Panhead. And then that'll get into how to check brakes on a 61 Panhead, how to check bearings on a 61 Panhead. And I'm going to go through the whole deal and see if I can figure out how to throw it on that playlist to where everything's going to be under the 61 Panhead. So if anybody, you know, we've got a 60 Panhead over here with my son, so he will have an opportunity because he hasn't been able to be out here with me. He'll be able to look at these videos and walk his way through and learn too. So thanks for watching. I'm having a blast. If you get a chance to step on that poodle bug, smash that bell, bang that gong, whatever you're supposed to do, have at it. And remember, man, if you ride them, wrench them, but only if you want to. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your evening.